Subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscribe button. Click the bell button and enjoy the latest uploads from our channel.
Fishing is not only hard work, it can be dangerous. Every year fishermen die when their boats catch fire, take on water, or capsize. Others die when they fall overboard and can't get back. If you leave survival to chance, you often leave your livelihood and your family to chance as well. Survivors take nothing for granted. They prepare for emergencies by having proper equipment and using realistic and frequent fire, man overboard, flooding, and abandoned ship drills. Studies show that people have a better chance to survive when they're trained to respond to emergencies. Other industries use regular safety training drills to prepare for accidents. There's a direct relationship between recent training and survival. Without practice on how to react to emergencies, people have several tendencies. At first, we tend to do the wrong thing or to do nothing at all. This can't be happening to me. Another tendency is to react with frantic and ineffective behavior. However, when people have regular drills and safety training, they respond more effectively and quickly. Fishermen get lots of experience fixing mechanical problems at sea, but safety drills are the most effective way to be ready for emergencies.
Take the time to do the drills. You think you're never going to need it, but when you do, it sure makes it worthwhile doing. I mean, it makes your life a lot easier, keeps things from being scary. It's a little bit of time well spent when the chips are down.
This video shows how to do hands-on emergency drills on fishing vessels. It is divided into 4 parts so you can stop and discuss it with your crew, then practice one drill before actually moving on to the next. It is not a substitute for actually doing the drills, nor does it cover everything you have to do in an emergency.
Carla, have a go at it.
You need to practice procedures that will work for your crew on your vessel. To respond effectively to emergencies at sea, you need to make sure that all crew, regardless of crew size, get a safety orientation which includes their duties during an emergency. All documented commercial fishing vessels, regardless of crew size, operating beyond the boundary line are required to do safety orientations. Boundary lines are generally outside the most seaward points of land. Documented fishing vessels are also required to have emergency instructions and ensure that certain monthly drills are performed. This is also true for any vessel with more than 16 people on board, whether they're inside or outside the boundary line. A safety orientation should include the location of all the vessel's equipment that may be needed in an emergency and how to use it. It should also cover safe practices on your vessel. A book of specific emergency instructions is required to be on board. If your vessel has 4 or more people on board, the following 4 instructions need to be displayed. Emergency duties, location of survival equipment, donning immersion suits, and issuing a mayday. It's also a good idea for crew members to sign a log after they've received the orientation. Even if it's not required for your vessel, safety orientations and emergency instructions are a good idea. They are your first steps in responding to emergencies. Another part of your safety orientation is a review of the station bill. A station bill should use the skills of your crew to the best advantage and include everybody's job in emergencies.
I'll be rigging the man overboard recovery device.
Rick, what's your station?
I'll be rigging a safety line. I'll be in an emergency suit because I'm the rescue swimmer.
How about you, Carla?
I'll assist as needed, and I'll be the messenger.
When writing a station, be sure to include what needs to be done in a specific emergency, who is the best person to do the job, and what they should bring with them when they respond. Everyone on board should know his or her duties in an emergency. Remember, your station bill spells out the immediate actions needed to save your life. With practice, you're more likely to do the right thing. Even experienced crew will not be efficient in emergencies if they've not practiced.
I've been fishing for 16 years and have done drills many, many times. And that does help, you bet. I think a lot of times it is hard getting started and getting organized and the time factor. Everybody's off doing 10 different things at once, and getting everybody together to do a drill is so it has to be, you have to really want to do it.
Roger that. Okay. Clear back left 20. Swimmer is in 3 o'clock.
She's command.
Roger.
Hopefully he won't sink the raft. I got the Stella coming.
Yeah, drilling definitely helps.
The master must ensure that 4 drills are conducted at least once a month by someone formally trained in how to conduct emergency drills on fishing vessels. The drills are fire on board, recovering a person from the water, flooding or damage control, and abandoning ship. Everyone on board must be able to launch and recover survival craft, put on immersion suits and other personal flotation devices, make radio calls and use distress signals, activate the general alarm, report inoperative alarm and fire detection systems, and put on self-contained breathing apparatus if required. Drills don't have to be tedious, but to be effective, they should be realistic. Keep them interesting and true to your vessel. Use emergency scenarios from your own and others' experience. Spontaneous. Don't always announce drills ahead of time.
Fire drill!
But always do say, this is a drill. Do them under different circumstances, day and night, calm and moderate weather. Hands-on. Practicing with equipment is the most effective way to learn how to use it right. When the chips are down, your crew will remember a lot more of what they've done than what they've heard. You're trying to build muscle memory or automatic responses. To be effective, drills should be progressive. Start with a simple drill. Once your crew has experience, you can create more complicated scenarios. Build their confidence and then throw in curves to make the drills more challenging. Be safe. Don't endanger the crew during drills. No running. Guard open hatches. Ensure no one does anything to hurt themselves or others. Build teamwork. All hands, including the master, should practice in the drills. Cross-train so everyone knows each other's jobs. Drills should build teamwork in your crew. Be positive. Drills can be a welcome break in your crew's routine. Make the drills fun. Don't use drills to harass, intimidate, or frustrate your crew. Debrief. Drills should end with a debriefing. This is a chance for everyone to speak up and improve the station bill as needed. Log the drill. After the drill, complete a written log entry with the date and the participants.
It's in the middle of the night. We're halfway across the Bering Sea, which is about 100 miles offshore. Weather came up. Punched a hole in the boat with the anchor, believe it or not. Boat basically filled up full of water and sank out from underneath us. It went down and away we went. Nobody got hurt. It wasn't that scary because we all knew what we were doing. We'd done drills on a regular basis.
Now let's go through the 4 required drills. Drill 1, fire. A fire at sea is your worst nightmare. It can expand 25 times in the first minute and 100 times in the first 2 minutes. At sea, your crew is the only fire department. For drills, use a red rag or strobe lights, or even a cardboard sign to simulate smoke and flames. Put this in a high-risk area when ready to do drills. When they find the simulated fire, the crewman shouts "fire drill" and the drill starts. It is critical to alert everyone on board. Maneuver right away to minimize wind on the fire and hit the general alarm. Radio power may also be cut off, so give a mayday as soon as possible. To prevent a false mayday, be sure the mic is not keyed during the drills. A messenger should communicate between the wheelhouse and the firefighters.
Backing you up, Julie.
The firefighters should always have a backup and use the right extinguishers. Shut off all fuel and electrical power and close all ventilation to isolate the fire. Make sure everyone knows how to do this. Early intervention is critical. Don't breathe the smoke. It's probably toxic. Stay low for best air and visibility, and use a self-contained breathing apparatus if available. Remember, crew with self-contained breathing apparatus should always work in pairs and wear fireman's outfits or protective clothing. Firefighting gear should be accessible, in good working order, and located away from potential fire hazards. Do regular boundary checks to prevent the fire from spreading. If you find new hotspots, remove safety gear and flammable materials.
Oh, let's get this gas can out of here.
It makes sense for the deck hose to be long enough to reach any potential hotspots.
The bulkhead cooled off.
We're doing good. We're going to get this fire out.
Look for fire hazards and ways to improve response. Be prepared to abandon ship if the fire can't be controlled. Account for all crew. After the drill, do a debrief and ask questions.
So, how'd we do on that fire drill, Skipper?
I think we did really well. I was really pleased with the way you grabbed that gas can and got it away from the fire area. How about the water hose? Was it long enough?
We had plenty of fire hose to come back from the bow, so I had a lot to work with. It was no problem.
Yeah, good job backing me up in the wheelhouse.
Thanks. Yeah, I might have been a little quicker. I think we might need to move that extinguisher up out of that hatchway a little bit so we can access it from the bridge.
Were all fire suppression and alarm systems in working order? Was the fire monitored for reflash? Was survival equipment protected from the fire? After the drill is debriefed, make sure the gear is checked for damage and properly stowed. Don't ruin your gear in a drill. And don't forget to log the drill. Drill 2. Man overboard. Almost 1/3 of all fishing fatalities in the U.S. are the result of people falling overboard during normal vessel operations. Rarely are they wearing a life jacket. Practice greatly improves your chances of quickly and safely recovering anyone who falls in. There's no sense taking risks just for a drill. Start the drill by throwing a buoy, a milk crate, or anything that floats overboard.
Man overboard drill, starboard side. Keep your eye on that milk crate and keep pointing.
Milk crates, unlike buoys, float low and are hard to see, more like a person in the water. Use a strobe light for night drills. Let the crew know this is just a drill. Make sure whoever sees the person go overboard always keeps them in sight and points to them. They should immediately throw a marker, sound an alarm, and say what side of the vessel the person fell from.
Starboard side, 100 degrees.
A messenger should relay the man overboard's location, what the crew is doing, and steering directions as needed. Remember, a man overboard drill is more important than just returning to the spot in the water. It is of vital importance that you rig a way to recover someone quickly and safely. If you use a rescue swimmer, they should put on an immersion suit and use a line to tether to the vessel. Whoever is on watch maneuvers the vessel and marks the position electronically. Have the crew practice a simple circle turn if visibility is good. Try another drill in poor visibility. Try a Williamson turn to put the vessel on a reciprocal course.
I'm gonna grab a gap. Okay, you know, if this was the real thing, I wouldn't be using a gap. I'd be using a lace like it's right there.
After you've finished the recovery, it's time to debrief. Was your recovery device accessible and ready to use? Did your crew put themselves at risk? If an extra person was available, did they help? If you gave the man overboard crate or buoy a medical condition, how did the crew react?
We need to discuss how we treat someone who's severely hypothermic.
Well, we're going to have to get them out of their wet clothes. We're going to have to get them wrapped in a warm blanket. We're not going to give them a warm shower.
Okay, but we got to treat him really gently.
And we won't give him anything to eat or drink.
That's good.
So how'd we do?
I think we did a really good job. I had a difficult time tracking that crate, though. It was pretty deep in the water and really hard to see.
You can't see it from the wheelhouse?
No, but that was a big help having you in the companionway and shouting directions. Plus, I could look out the wheelhouse door and see Carla pointing.
Yeah, you did a great job pointing to that person and not losing track of them in the water.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, let's log this drill, but before we log the drill, let's put the gear away.
Remember, a drill is not over until it's debriefed and logged. Drill 3, flooding. Flooding is common at sea, and it happens quickly. 20% of fishing vessel losses are due to flooding. A 3-inch hole 2 feet below the waterline will let in 250 gallons a minute. One way to start a flooding drill is to place a piece of cardboard with the word flooding on it in a location such as the bilge or lazarette. When the crew finds the sign, the drill starts. This will also reinforce the idea of regularly checking these spaces.
Flooding drill! We've got a flooding drill!
You could also start the drill by testing the general and high water alarms.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
Make a simulated call for help on the radio.
We've got a flooding problem.
Quickly find ways to plug the hole with whatever is available to slow the rate of flooding. Every vessel should have a damage control kit. Your crew should know where all through-hull fittings are located. Close watertight hatches. Pump the water out. Everyone should be able to operate the dewatering pumps, whether your own or delivered by the Coast Guard. This is the time to make sure your own pumps work. If you use gasoline pumps below decks, be sure to vent all carbon monoxide. Use all extra pumps and even buckets to dewater. Beware of entrapping people. Do whatever you can to improve stability and watertight integrity, including tossing fish and gear overboard, clearing freeing ports, limiting free surface effects in tanks and on deck, and maneuvering into the seas. Prepare survival equipment in case you have to abandon ship. As with all drills, you should debrief. Talk about how the drill could have been better and discuss operations of pumps or other safety gear.
Well, how do you guys feel the flooding drill went?
Oh, I think it went great this time.
It was nice to have everything in one place in that DC kit so we could get at it.
You know, I think we should get a socket driver that's exactly the right size for the hose clamps.
Oh, that'd be a good idea, yeah. How about some of that underwater epoxy?
Oh, that would be nice. That would be real nice. One thing about the dewatering pump, the hose needs to be a little bit longer so we can get it all the way down into the bilge.
All hands should participate in the drill, and don't forget to log it.
He's on the side.
Okay, start taking people out.
Drill 4, abandoned ship. A fishing vessel is lost every 60 hours in the U.S. A well-practiced plan will greatly increase the chances of your crew's survival. Let your crew know that this is a drill. Abandoned ship can also be done as an extension of the fire or flooding drill.
Abandon ship drill. Get your gear now.
Make a simulated mayday call on the proper radio channel.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
Be sure to include name, location, the nature of your problem, and the number of people on board.
The fishing vessel Cherokee. We're outside Samsing Cove going down with 4 people aboard.
Make sure all crew know how to find the proper radio channel and can determine the vessel's position. Critical points in an abandoned ship drill are to account for all crew members. The crew should gather flares, the abandoned ship kit, water and food, the logbook, and extra clothing if time allows. Watertight doors and hatches should be secured before abandoning the vessel. Everyone should be able to get into the right-sized immersion suit in 60 seconds or less. Crew should assist each other with immersion suits. Different sized immersion suits should be easy to identify, even in the dark. Life rafts are usually mounted where they fit, not where they're most accessible. The crew should know how to get to the life raft and how to launch it. Make sure the crew knows how to recover one too. All the crew should know how to operate the vessel's EPIRB. Do not activate the EPIRB during your drill. This is also a good time to test your EPIRB and log it, as well as check your survival suit.
Okay, this is how you test the EPIRB. Push it over to where it says test.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Alright, then while we're at it, we'll check the battery date. And then we'll check their lights on each other's suits.
Again, debrief the drill. Talk with your crew about what can be done better.
Well, how did it go? Could any of the gear been more accessible?
No, I think it was fine, but I know I'm going to have to mark my immersion suit bag so I can tell it from the other bags.
Yeah, boy, those plastic bags made it really easy to get into my suit.
I'd have to agree.
Check, maintain, and properly store all safety gear in an accessible location after the drill. Log the drill. Remember, this video is not a substitute for doing drills. Your crew will remember more with hands-on learning than by just talking or watching a videotape. After your crew is experienced, effective drills take only an hour to an hour and a half a month. An alternative is to conduct one 15-minute drill a week, one problem at a time. Adjust your station bill to spread responsibilities. Crew should not be too busy while others are not doing anything. Drills can be made more challenging by adding medical response or getting ready for a helicopter evacuation. Be creative. If you have difficulty role-playing with your crew, think of other emergencies and use a story in the media. Remind your crew that just like fishing, survival requires a team, and the better your team, the better your chance of beating the odds.
Pay attention to what you're learning because it could save your life. One thing I would have done, and I was thinking about this, is gone through a more intensive drill on everything. I don't know that you can ever fully anticipate everything, or nothing is. It's never going to be exactly the same as you drill it. I don't think. I mean, it can get darn close, and that's probably why you drill.
You never know how your day is going to end. Prepare for the unexpected by practicing for the unexpected.
Go ahead, do the drills. It'll save you a lot of chaos later.